Hello, my name is Keshwani. That's Keshwani, Keshwani. We are here because we want to prepare for the GMAT. We have been solving GMAT math problems out of this book here, GMAT Review, the official guide, the 13th edition. If you do not own this book already, purchase one immediately. You're going to need it. The problem that we are about to solve is the one that you will find on page number 159. Page 159, the very first problem on it. And today is our lesson number 55. Page 159. The problem is already on the blackboard. It says, if y is an integer, then the least possible value of y. If y is an integer, then the least possible value of the absolute value of 23 minus 5y is what? And the 5 answer choices that they give you are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Very simple, very straightforward. A, B, C, D, E. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see what happens. In A, if we were to put our expression here, the expression is 23 minus 5y. If we were to put 1, substitute 1 in there, we get 23 minus 5 times 1. 23 minus 5 is 18, and absolute value of 18 is just 18. Similarly, we put 23 minus 5 times 2. 23 minus 10 is 13. And in C, we get 23 minus 5 times 3. 5 times 3 is 15, and 23 minus 15 is 8. And finally, in D we have 4, so it's 23 minus 5 times 4 gives us 3. And one last one, let's see what happens, because they still keep going down, and we're looking for the least possible value. So it's 23 minus 5 times 5. Now here we're going to get a negative 2 in the absolute value. 23 minus a 25 is a negative 2, and the absolute value of negative 2 is positive 2. So among the 5 answers that we got here, the least possible value of the expression, is E. There you go, voila, that's your answer. The least possible value of the expression is the least possible value of the expression is 2 when y equals 5. Well, here's your answer. Alright? Everything is fine or no? Unfortunately, everything is not fine. This work is all wrong. Which is why I put down here. This E would have been the right answer. Listen very carefully. E would have been the right answer if the question were, what is the least possible value of the expression? If the question were, what is the least, so rather, that is what they're asking here. If the question were, for what value of y, is the value of the expression absolute value of 23 minus 5y the least. Had this been the question, then this would have been the answer. this would have, I don't mean to put an arrow to the 2 here, then this would have been the right answer, because here the least possible value of the expression, the least possible value, you see 18, 13, 8, 33 and 2, the least possible value, what is the least possible value of the expression is 2 when y is 5. The question here is, for what value of y is the value of the expression the least? The value of the expression here, we started out when y is 1, the value of the expression was 18. When y was 2, the value of the expression was 13. When y is 3, the value of the expression is 8. When y was 4, the value of the expression was 3. When y was 5, the value of the expression was least. The value of the expression is 2 when y is 5. Had this been the question, for what value of y is the expression the least, the answer would have been 5. For what value of y? When value of the y is 5, that makes this expression the least. But that is not what they're asking here. Here the question is just the opposite. They're asking here, if y is an integer, the least possible value of the expression is what? The least possible value of the expression was. We already know the answer. The least possible value is 2. But it's a tricky question because in the answer choices 2 appears there, not there. This thing gives us the value of the y. Value of the y for which the expression is the least. But that is not what the question is asking. The question is asking what is the value of the expression itself when it is least. In other words, they are asking us what is the minimum value of the expression, and the minimum value of the expression is this. Minimum value of the expression is 2. Voila. The answer is not E, it is B. Minimum value of the expression is 2. Now if you like, we can do it a little bit differently. We can do it one more way. I'm going to do it a little bit differently. I need to erase all of this thing, but I hope you understand that thing. One more time, the question is not asking for what value of y is the value of the expression the least. Had that been the question, for what value of y is this expression the least, then we found just now that the value of the expression was least when we plugged in 5 for y. In that case, 5 would have been the answer. 5 would have been the answer. That would have been the answer if they were looking for value of y for which the expression is least. The expression is least when y is 5. But the question is asking what is the value of the expression itself when it is least. In other words, they're looking for the minimum value of the expression. The minimum value of the expression is 2, but 2 appears in B, not E. B is the right answer because that's the one that answers the question that is being asked. What is the minimum value of the expression? The minimum value of the expression is 2. The fact that that minimum value of the expression occurs when y equals 5, nobody's asking us about that part. Let's do it one more time, a little bit differently, with a different method. So this again, one more time, this thing here answers this. Answer to this question would have been 5, but that is not what the question is. Let's do it one more time. So here the question is, what is the least possible value of the expression? What is the least possible value of the expression? Here, the question is, what is the least possible value of the expression? What is the least possible value of the expression? Simple question. What is the least possible value of the expression? We just have to plug in different values of y and see which one gives us the least expression. For example, least value of the expression. For example, here are the values of y. Here's y, and here is our expression. Let's start with 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Let's see what happens, okay? We're going to figure out the values of the expression. When x is 0, so rather when y is 0, our expression is 23 minus 5y, the absolute value of it. When y is 0, 5 times 0 is 0, and we get 23. When y is 0, the expression is 23. When y is 1, 5 times 1 is 5, 23 minus 5 is 18. We already did all of this thing. 18 is going to be 5 less than that, which is going to be 13. It's going to be 5 less than that, which is 8. It's going to be 5 less than that, which is going to be 3. And finally, when we found out that when the value of the y is 5, 5 times 5 is 25, and the absolute value of 23 minus 25, which is negative 2, which is positive 2. Now what happens if you go one more? Let's see what happens here. If you were to plug in 6 here, instead of 5, if you were to plug in 6 for the value of y, we end up with 23 minus 30, 23 minus 30, which is negative 7. 23 minus 30, which is negative 7, and the absolute value would be positive 7. You see, this is no longer the minimum, it goes up to 7. This was the lowest. Now let's find out what happens on the negative side, shall we? Let's find out the negative side. If y happens to be negative 1, watch what happens. If y happens to be negative 1, then negative 1 times negative 5 is positive 5, and we end up with the absolute value of 28, which of course is 28. And if you go to negative 2, you will find that it becomes 33. So it increases. On the negative side, it begins to screed again after 5. It is the minimum value of the expression. Minimum value of the expression is 2, which is what the question is asking. What is the least possible value of the expression? What is the least possible value of this guy? The least possible value is 2, which is our answer choice B. I hope it was helpful. The reason I took so much time into it is because some questions are just by their very nature, they're not difficult, but they're tricky, and if you're not paying attention to the wording, it's very easy to fall in the trap, which is what happened to me. First time around, I got it wrong too, which is why I took the extra time to explain it in more detail. I'll see you tomorrow, okay? Bye now.